welcome to 10-minute tips from Clearthought Consulting. In this session we're going to look at techniques that you can put into practice to reduce churn in your business. We're specifically looking at things that you can do right the way through the sales funnel to reduce your churn. So first off, what is churn? Well, fundamentally it's the hole in your bucket. It's the people that you've spent money on to get to come on board as your customers who buy from you once and never come back. The concept with churn is that you're continually topping up from the top in order to make up for the people who fall out the bottom. And it's true that the bucket in a sales funnel is where you might see the symptoms of churn, but the causes are managed throughout the sales funnel. And to have a complete sales funnel, you need a tap generating awareness and interest, you need a funnel converting that interest into business, and you need your bucket where your loyal customers sit and would like to stay. When we're looking at the sales funnel, I'm going to be referring to the 6-step funnel. It's based on the Kotler rational decision-making model. There are lots of them. Many of you will have heard AIDA, various other mnemonics. We'll be looking at the 6 steps going from awareness through to loyalty. So first of all, how is it that you can reduce your churn when you're generating awareness? First off, make sure you've identified people who genuinely have a need for your service and target them specifically. You can do this through direct mail, making sure you've bought appropriate data for your need, or maybe just by targeting a specific trade title rather than general business press. If you're appealing to people who generally need what you're selling, you're less likely to get people who buy an impulse and churn later. Secondly, make sure that your messaging is benefit-led. This is so that people know what the outcome is and that they genuinely want that outcome. So, for example, if you tell people that you'll save them money, you know that they're less likely to churn if you do indeed save them money. Now, the third thing to do at this awareness stage is to screen inbound prospects. So we've talked about targeting people, but what about those people who come through your door uninvited, so to speak, perhaps as a response to social media or online word of mouth, which is a little bit less easy to target. We suggest that you put in a qualification process right up at the front, and this is about whether you want to work with them rather than whether they want to work with you. So things like, have they been through a credit check? Do they have the funds to pay you? Are they willing to pay you? You can go through a credit reference agency, whether you're business to business or consumer, or use products from like a client of ours, Fraud Screen, who will tell you whether or not people have an intent to pay. So at this awareness stage, the influence of your activity on whether or not you're going to generate churn is medium. There are things you can do. Moving on to the interest stage of the sales funnel, the key thing here is understanding their needs. So you could work out a qualification script, prepare an online audit tool, understand what it is that success means to them, and also bear in mind, when you are working out what their needs are, that there is actually a cultural fit. Often churn is based on a clash of personalities rather than the product or service that people have bought. And I would also say at this interest stage that it's really important that if you can't help them, let them go. Have prepared people you can refer potential customers to if they're that little bit too small or that little bit too big, or just don't feel right, that gets them what they need, but just don't say yes if you can't help them. Have a polite way to say no, have a plan in place. The next thing you can do to reduce churn at the evaluation and trial stage, so this is when you're putting together proposals or people are reading the detailed product information on your website. Set really clear expectations. I've laid out 4 areas on which people really need to know what to expect. The first is cost. What's it going to cost them? Are there any out-of-pocket or unexpected costs that they should be aware of? Are there any set-up fees? When will you be billing them? In what time frame are you expecting them to pay? Time. When can they expect what from you? How much time will you need from them? The quality, so standards that they can expect and how that's going to be measured. And don't forget the people. Who are they going to work with? Who can they contact? And do those people get on? It's really important during this evaluation stage that you set really clear expectations. If your expectations are, people's expectations are too high, then it's very likely that if you don't meet them, they will churn. The influence here is really high, and and you really need to take care that the customers you're bringing on board genuinely know what to expect with working from you. Then at the adoption stage, this is about your onboarding process. So the first thing we'd say is make your customers feel welcome. Say thank you in some way. A new supplier that we signed up to recently sent us a personalised card just thanking us for our business, which was a really nice touch. One of our other clients, Gradwell, takes care to send a welcome pack with how-to instructions of setting up their phones. Clarify how to get help. Is there an online help centre? Is there a line that they should call? Give them that information up front and don't make them ask for it. And the second thing is to check in regularly. Have a structure in place for checking satisfaction. Do you give them a call at 7 days, at the end of the first month? When's appropriate? Just to check in and say, how's it going? Is it as you expected? And provide them with really clear channels for feedback. So that if there is something that they feel could do with a little bit of improvement, they tell you about it rather than just whinging amongst themselves. The influence here is really high. The way that you kick off your relationship with a customer or a client will seriously influence whether or not they're going to stay with you in the long term. And then in terms of loyalty, what can you do to keep those customers loyal and unlikely to churn? Well, your customer is someone else's target, and you need to keep their attention. Your competitors will be marketing to your target audience with interesting and engaging material, so you need to beat them at it. Keep them engaged. Some of the things you can do is get them signed up to a permission newsletter or get them to follow you on Twitter. It can be a really nice touch to actually feature your customers as a case study. Makes them feel special, shows how much you value them, shows off their work. Invite them to events. That might be an online event, a webcast like I'm doing today, or a face-to-face event, or just a drink on a Friday. But make sure you let them determine the level of contact. Don't blast them with customer emails. Let them set the permission and change it if they want to. And absolutely crucial, you need to keep up to date with their changing needs. They may have needed your products when they first came on board. What's changed? Are there some new people who have joined who might see things a little differently? How you interact with people once they've come on board has a significant influence on whether or not they're likely to churn. So take a look at some of these ideas and see if you can integrate them into your business. So just to summarise, through the sales funnel, most people think that churn is about focusing on loyalty factors. Yes, that's true, but there are things that you can do throughout the rest of the sales funnel too. Upper awareness, the impact that you're likely to have is medium. Same is true of interest. And then right through the rest of the sales funnel, what you do and how you manage the interaction with your prospects and then your customers is absolutely vital in terms of minimising the likelihood of churn. You've spent a great deal of money getting those customers on board. Why not just spend a little bit of effort keeping them? So a few things to remember. Positive choices make positive relationships. Don't trick people into buying things from you. If they've actively entered into a relationship with you based on really clear expectations, they are far more likely to stay with you. Be aware that needs change over time. People come on board, their businesses change, and you need to keep on top of that. And the third thing I'd say is just avoid those nasty surprises. People might talk about customer delight, and delight is fantastic. It will make people smile. But when something fundamental doesn't work, it will annoy everyone. So get the basics right, don't give them any nasty surprises, and then focus on those areas where you can delight them. So that was a very quick introduction to the things that you can do through the sales funnel to reduce churn. You've been listening to Clear Thought Consulting, and you can hear more information at our website, www.clear-thought.co.uk.